C9 is going to be really hard to beat. We were able to take a game off of them in the playoffs. We kind of had a comp that they didn't know how to deal with, and we threw them off guard.
They said they were the underdog, so they don't let anything to chance, and Envy take it to the late game.
If we want to beat C9, we have to kind of like hit them with something that they don't expect.
C9이랑 아무래도 상대 전적이 많이 밀리고 또 되게 잘하는 선수들이라서 이겨도 되게 힘들게 이기고.
There's a chance. I'd hope so. It'd be a good story to have teams like twice in a row just go through from last to first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to day 2 of the North American Regional Qualifier. 3 teams remain in contention for the final spot at Worlds, and fans are out in force to see their favorite players through to the finish. Now, Impact earlier made a splash during the NA Summer Playoffs. He's readying up to lead Cloud9 in their gauntlet push. We'll see if they can show up what they did last year. He'll, of course, face off against Seraph, who had a big day yesterday versus Liquid. Envy will be looking to repeat that success in round 2 of the Regional Qualifier. Thank you so much for watching with us today. I'm James Patterson, and joining me on the analyst desk for today's games are Mark Zimmerman and Alberto Crumzangifo, my original dynamic duo of this split. It's good to have you both back. A little sad that you didn't bring the ties with you.
I only wear ties when you're not here.
Come on, what do I have to do,
I feel like I just want you to look good, and I don't want to pull away from it, and then I need to bring it up when you're not here.
A true wingman on the desk.
Well, now I'm just stuck on the side of the desk again. I had the glory of the middle.
That's true for one day and one day only. Yeah. Crumbs was the center of attention.
I know what it's like. Honestly, I'd rather be on the side.
Yeah, it's not easy.
There's a lot of pressure.
Heavy weighs the crown.
It's a lot of pressure. You get to you like me, get to look one direction the whole day. Yeah. He has to do the whole swivel head thing, and that's awful. Anyway, let's start the day off by taking a look at the teams who have qualified for Worlds already. INTZ Esports has secured their international wildcard slot by defeating Dark Passage 3-2 yesterday. AHQ Esports Club has also qualified for Worlds following their 3-0 victory over Machi in the LMS's 2016 regional final. So, gentlemen, shaping up. We're just looking for those last 3 teams, one from Europe, one from NA, and our final wildcard position. But ultimately, shaping up to be a very interesting World Final with some players, as you mentioned yesterday, Ambition, for example, much deserving of being at the World Championship. We're finally going to get to see him play.
I'm living vicariously through him, so.
Jungler love from
One, of course,
2.
we have appearances by people like Core JJ, of just being in the NALCS, a split or two ago on Dignitas, and here he is making his trip to Worlds in the support position. Regardless to say, we have a couple more people to be joining them. The World's group stage will begin September 29th in San Francisco's Bill Graham Auditorium before moving on to Chicago, New York, and then back to Los Angeles. Tickets are still available for group stages and semifinals, so head over to lollysports.com/tickets to reserve your spot. And join us as the best teams in the world face off for the Summoners Cup. Now, we still need to qualify or determine the final teams headed to Worlds, and yesterday, Team Envy and Liquid faced off in the first round of the NA Regional Qualifier, with Envy coming up victorious and moving ahead to today's match against Cloud9. Winner of this will, of course, move on to face Immortals in that final best-of-5.
Yeah, and I think we saw yesterday was a very interesting matchup where TL was grabbing a lot of early leads and then clearly not cohesive as a team and lost most major team fights, and that's a little scary for Envy to have an early game like that going up against a much more coordinated team in Cloud9.
Yeah, I mean, discussing what we saw yesterday and then kind of relating it today, Envy is going to have to step it up against Cloud9 in those early games, because you have to imagine if Cloud9 is able to create a lead like Team Liquid did, 8K in Game 1 or 3.5K at 15 minutes in Game 2, they're not going to let Envy back into this series.
Well, I think they hit the nail on the head as to what they need to do to beat Cloud9. They said we got to hit them with something that they're not expecting. We saw the Morgana support. We know that they have an unconventional champion pool in pretty much all their roles. So it worked in the quarterfinals for Game 1 way back, but maybe this time around they have more picks that they can actually offer for Cloud9. It's kind of hard to imagine the team that just came back from the finals is going to be expanding their champion pool and know exactly what Envy can bring out.
The problem for me, though, is the fact that Seraph is such an important part for Envy and has a couple of those flex weird picks, and Impact, as we had seen throughout the whole playoffs, was such a beast at just absorbing all the pressure. Yeah, he's like, just give me Gnar, give me this, I don't care, I'll perform great. And I think that's such a favorable matchup for Cloud9 that he can just deal with Seraph pretty easily.
All right, well, without further ado, we're hungry for games here in NA. It's time to get the show on the road, so we're going to send it over to our casters to get the match underway.
Welcome to the Battle Theatre League fans. I'm Julian Pastry Time Carr here for some NA regional qualification action with my partner in crime, Aiden Zion Moon. How's it going?
Sometimes you're so excited you just mess up your own name. I do that all the time.
Yeah, that sounds like me. Teams are ready to roll though, so let's check out these starting lineups. Cloud9 have selected the blue side for game number 1. Let's have a look at the finalists there. In the top lane, it is the god himself, Impact. From the jungle, Meteos, their mid laner, Jensen, AD carry, Sneaky, support, Smoothie, and Coach Reapid.
And on the opposing side, it's the team that was victorious yesterday. It's Envy. In the top lane, Seraph. Proxen in the jungle, Ninja in mid, Lotta AD carry, possibly a lot in Savior, and then support Hakuho with Coach Miracle.
Well, they're going to need it and Lotta to really step up there because they need 3 strong games in a row against a team that is, honestly, despite the loss, so much momentum moving into this gauntlet.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you think about Cloud9 made the finals and then they actually just had a run. Basically, all they have to do is play their playoffs over again. They have to go through Envy and Immortals and then they qualify for Worlds. And Cloud9 as an organization, since their inception, has not missed a World Championship.
Well, certainly they're not looking at it. They had the Miracle reverse sweeps with high in the roster last time to get themselves there. We'll see if the new and improved Cloud9, who've had such an excellent season, can get it done here. Envy, though, looking to play spoiler, the same position C9 were in when they made their run last year. We'll see what the draft has for us here. Karma and Siva bend away from Cloud9. Envy are going to take away that Tahm Kench. Of course, Smoothie was one of the first supports to really bring it out here in NA, as there's the Shen ban from Envy as well.
Yeah, and I like what Cloud9 are doing. It's more target banned right now. Siva is Lod's best champions, his most played as well. Karma is a flex pick between Ninja and Hakuho. So they're target banning on the blue side. And Cloud9 selected blue side for this, so they know that they're going to get at least some priority pick here. Gangplank still on the table. Gnar still on the table. Lots of things here that can be first picked.
Well, Vlad's off and GP is off, so maybe Gnar is that obvious pick here. Impact going to go straight for the hover, and there it is.
Yeah, I think this is going to be really cool because we might see the Kennen come out from Seraph because that's the counter to Gnar right now in the laning phase. You're able to take it down, but this is just really fast in terms of picks and bans.
Yeah, Jin Gragas already selected there for Envy, so they are straight through with those early picks. We have the Rek'Sai open for Meteos. That's been the other big jungler alongside Gragas for really the last few weeks, maybe even months. For the team certainly prepared here for the first game. C9 are going to slow it down just a little bit. See what they have in store here.
The Rek'Sai, sometimes first pick worthy, very popular champion. I assume it's going to go over to Meteos. They may pick their support here as well if they want a priority support, but a lot of the times you'll take your AD carry in this round and make sure that you can get a support and know what the other support is by that point.
Well, have to find out. 20 seconds now for Cloud9. And lock in their next round of picks. Rek'Sai seems like the obvious one. Coach Reapid nodding his head there. So it seems like these will be the selections for Cloud9.
Yeah, I do like the Braum because it's the big takeaway from Hakuho. Had great performances on it in 2 games yesterday. Actually, very close to getting our player of the series.
Yeah, definitely looking good there. Rek'Sai, Braum were the 2 picks there for Cloud9. So keeping it standard there. Of course, that priority on the Gnar, which makes sense from their blue side preferences. Seraph, we'll see what he has in store. We've seen a lot of counter picks like the Kennen, even Yasuo in EU earlier this morning that can play against him. Seraph definitely has deep pockets when it comes to champion picks, but if you don't shut down the Gnar usually takes over the game. So that's the problem.
Especially Impact's Gnar. He has been a monster on this. He has actually diffused so much pressure. And when you think about Seraph, when he first came over to North America, he was a Nidalee, Lissandra, Yasuo top lane player. So he is very familiar with that champion, had highlight montages that were hyping him up back when he was on CLG. And then it was the TP meta and he had to adjust to that. So if he pulls out a Yasuo here against the Gnar, he also has Kennen up his sleeve. And that's what I really wanted to know is Impact loves Gnar. They're first picking it. It's first pick worthy for him. What's the counter here? Because they have 2 of them in that champion pool on top.
It is the Kennen. That's locked in there. Ninja's going to take it. Could be his pick, but we expect it to go top lane. Trundle also the selection there for Envy, so they'll take the very popular melee support into that Braum matchup through the bottom lane. And we talked about it. Seraphi has the picks prepared. Cloud9 say, take it. Let's see what you can do with it.
Exactly. And the game that Cloud9 lost against Envy in the quarterfinals was against Kennen. It was the late game team fights, the Kennen-Lissandra combination from Ninja and Seraph, and the backline access they had when they could get to Jensen and Sneaky both with those ultimates.
And we heard it. It felt like the biggest issue there was it was a surprise. Well, it's not a surprise now for Cloud9. They've seen it already. They kind of took that loss on. They've had so much moving through the playoffs here. We'll see how Cloud9 close out their draft, though. AD carry's gone pretty much untouched. Jin seems to be the very popular AD carry, which Envy took early. Sneaky response with Ashe. And Jensen actually going to take Talia blind here.
Yeah, the Talia blind. There are a few things that you can pick into it and have a really good time. For example, there's that Cassiopeia. If Ninja has actually picked up Syndra, then that's a really good pick into the Talia that Jensen actually counter picks with sometimes. So really interesting seeing this come out here because this is a very proactive team from Cloud9. They have the Ash Arrow, they have the Weaver's Wall. You can go to top lane with Jensen. You can also go to bottom lane and have Sneaky even come mid. So these lanes, whoever gets ahead, will be helping the other ones out to get the whole team ahead.
And that's the thing, it feels like a big emphasis on team play and teamwork here for Cloud9 with this comp. It's not just Jensen trying to smash lane with a Syndra and Snowball. It's, you know, Impact, he can go off, but now is a big team fighting champion in the Mega Gnar form. So I like what Cloud9 have brought here to say, you know what, we can probably outplay Envy in the laning phase, but definitely when we play together, as Echo's actually the last pick here for Envy, and that should be mid Echo, given what we know about Seraph and his preferences versus Gnar with the cannon.
Yeah, and this is what Envy does all of the time. Their drafts are really strange. You don't always know where the champion is going. They will flex pick the Karma, they flex pick Lissandra. Vladimir has been thrown to the top lane for Seraph in the past, and this might be another one of those things because Envy have had 3 weeks to practice, completely hidden from Cloud9's eyes, and what have they been working on because they knew they were going to be in the gauntlet back when they ended up dropping in quarters.
Well, if we're going to swap these around, they don't have very much longer. I believe 20 seconds is the cutoff. So that should be Echo locked in for Ninja. And we have seen a decent amount of mid lane Echo, not necessarily into the Talia, but there are 2 teleports here for Envy, like definitely trying to match, I think, some of the global pressure that this team has from Cloud9 and match some of that team fighting as well.
Yeah, if they stay with the double teleport here that Envy have as their summoner spells, we could see them match the pressure there. I want to see how this Echo ends up playing into the Talia. How good is it going to be? She's rather low mobility, so parallel convergence isn't impossible to land during the laning phase. And I also think that this Kennen, good team fight composition for Envy. They're playing to their strengths in this draft.
Well, it is day 2 of the original qualifier. Don't forget to get nice and loud out on Twitter. Hashtag C9win if you're behind the Cloud9 boys, or if you think Envy can pull the miracle run through the gauntlet. Hashtag NVWin, and we'll tally your votes as we move through the day. Game 1 of another best of 5. It's always fun running the gauntlet here. Cloud9, they made it yesterday. They have Immortals in their sights, but they need to get through Envy first. And Envy, they already said it's going to be hard work for them. Well, it starts here in game number 1.
Yeah, and this is honestly a trap game for Cloud9. It's a trap match because when you have Immortals, tomorrow if you win this, remember, you think about the quarterfinals, they beat Envy and then they had a week to prepare for their next opponent. They have a day if they end up beating Envy. So you can't be caught as Cloud9 preparing for Immortals when Envy is a team that has such weird strategies and weird drafts that you have to be prepared for them or you could get caught off guard.
Well, it doesn't seem too unexpected here, but Envy certainly mixing it up already with another double EP comp, actually. Played a few of that yesterday. We'll see if Envy can shore up some of the early game, though, because we heard from the desk yesterday in their match versus Team Liquid, that was the most obvious thing for them to fix.
Yeah, and I do like as well that this double AP composition has a Jhin attached to it because he goes the armor penetration build, and then if you're caught only building MR, then he's going to be able to shred through even your beefiest of tanks.
I like that from Hakuho. Just gives a little dance there to Smoothie, who does scout him out with the Winter's Bite. Sneaky going to do a dance of his own here next to the Krugs. As looks like both duo lanes, as expected, will start a camp here. No crazy movement. Smoothie just getting a little bit of free damage, but Hakuho going to dance it off. He's not too worried. And now Smoothie's going to make his way down, rejoin Sneaky to make sure that camp gets taken, and junglers will be starting, as is very common on this top side of the map, and likely move their way down towards bottom lane. We saw so much 3v3 and 4v4 action early on in those lanes. Looks like everyone wants to kind of snowball their AD carries, now that we're sort of back to standard lanes again.
Yeah, you want to snowball your AD carries, but the thing is you have to play towards your top side of the map first, and then leave it alone, allow it to have its own advantage, and just keep bringing it bot side. Because if you get a Gnar ahead and he can solo kill the Kennen doesn't have pressure in that lane, and then doesn't really have pressure on the bot side of the map, and may even have to blow his teleport to get back to lane, or lose 10 more CS, and it just keeps snowballing.
Well, so you can see Impact not afraid there with the Keystone Mastery. Further a battle versus Thunderlords could be a fun one. I do like the Warlords there from Sneaky as well, so we'll check in with that. As right now, Sneaky and Smoothie just getting the lane push. Level 2 there for Ash, but Lod has also hit level 2 already. Smoothie, another nice little Q. We've seen just how good the laning has been from the Cloud9 duo now that they've played more and more together. Hakuho and Lod are going to have to do a lot of lifting here, especially because they give so much preference to Lod's early pick Jhin.
And then with the Sivir being banned out, it's a big priority for them. And Sneaky, he knows Jhin, right? And they know their power spikes, and that's the level 2 coming out.
This is good damage here. Smoothie hitting that too, as Sneaky's able to get great damage down onto Lod. Pokes him back and forth. Jhin temporarily runs out of bullets, and looks like control's in C9's hands right now.
Yeah, and they just get to push up here. And this is one of the lanes that we were thinking Envy, if they did have an advantage, it might be in that bottom lane because Hakuho and Lod have been playing so well yesterday. But Cloud9, we saw Sneaky and Smoothie double killing, double lift, and Biofrost in the finals. just during the laning phase, and that was a lane that Meteos kept playing towards. So that might be another strength for Cloud9, even though they have all the strengths across the map in the first place.
And we can see some of that preference here. Meteos does take the bottom side Scuttle Crab relatively early, as he's now going to move back into the other side of his jungle and clear out those camps. Meanwhile, the top lane, Seraph.
Oh, this is going to be close.
Impact going to keep moving in there. Now going to proc some damage here. Seraph going to keep running in. Needs a stun, but Seraph flashes over and Impact stands his ground for first blood.
The minions, you can't fight him in the minions like that. The cannon is a great counter to the Gnar, but he just did not respect the extra damage there. I bet he's looking at his death recap like, hey, 100 damage from minions.
Oh, Meteor smites it away as well. Jensen also here first, as that's a flash force from Prox and Ninja. Couldn't make his way in to try and defend, and Jensen's going to do a little bit of damage. Thunderlord's Prox as he weaves an auto win, but Ninja going to turn it back around. Prox and no flash looking for this, but the slow's going to move down. Parallel Convergence juked out of nicely, and Jensen survives a bit of 1v2 pressure.
Yeah, and now Proxen has to give up his entire top half of the jungle. He can't check it right now. Meteos will pick that up, and they also know that the flash is down for Kennen. You think back to that fight, Impact didn't have to flash. Seraph threw out the flash to try and dodge possibly a last-minute boomerang coming out, something like that. So now the advantage is once again in Impact's favor, and this has just been the kryptonite. He has an advantage. He has the W, so he goes in. Doesn't hit him with the E either. And then so he's lacking a charge, doesn't get the stun off, and it waits way too long. So Impact did a great job of hiding in his minion wave there. And Seraph, if he was going to flash, you flash with the E on, so you get that second charge, you get the W off, you get the stun off for 3 marks, and then you get the Q to the face. That may have been a kill if he had actually done that.
You can see the letdown there on Seraph's face. It was such a close all-in. I feel like that happens a lot to Seraph. He's so good at dueling people. You mentioned his early champ pull. The likes of Yasuo definitely lends itself to that sort of thing, but not quite there, as the Cloud9 fans are awfully loud today.
Yeah, awfully loud. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, they made it to the finals. There's a lot of hype behind this team. They are actually favorites to make it out, despite not being that final boss of the Gauntlet and its Immortals. But because Cloud9 had already beaten Envy, had already beaten Immortals in the playoffs, they just have to do it again.
Yep, and they don't have TSM waiting on the other side this time, which I guess is nice.
Yeah, they may have SKT or some other teams.
Yeah,
but, you know.
well, no problem.
But that's what they're hoping, is that they get to Worlds.
Well, that's certainly the goal here in Impact. Starting off on the right foot, he's been on fire all playoffs long, as Proxman will pay a visit to this top lane. Pink Ward should quell any sort of aggression. Impact going to play his way back in the mini-Gnar form, so should be okay, as Jensen pre-6 going to look for something in bottom lane here. There is a ward that he walks over and immediately walks back the other way as a result.
Yeah, he's incredibly close to 6 if you look at his experience bar in the bottom left corner. That if he had walked into lane and a minion dies, he pings 6 and then the Weaver's Wall comes out. A little unexpected.
Yep, you can see now level 6, so you were right. Pretty much a minion away. Tries to move Ninja back, but a nice base dive over it actually. Jensen going to answer some back, but Ninja with a nice little trade zooms his way out of control.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good champion to play into the Taliyah, the Echo. The more I think about it, the phase dive and the ability to just close the gap on a low mobility champion. Even the phase dive would get you over. Hold on. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, Impact moving for another solo. There's a Mega Gnar ultimate and Impact just does it again.
Ever since quarterfinals, Impact has just been an absolute beast. This guy has been solo killing so many people. It doesn't matter if your name's Huni, Seraph, Hanser. It doesn't matter. Impact sees the advantage, he takes it.
And that's a double drones for Seraph as well, so that hurts a lot for that Envy counter pick in the top lane. Meteos also playing up here. Teleport used by Seraph. This may not be safe for Envy's top laner.
Yeah, luckily Impact is going to back.
Okay, so we're safe for now.
He's safe for now. He can have a little bit of a respite, but his teleport is down. And one of the things about Kennen that you really want to hold on to is you want to get an early lane kill if possible, starve the Gnar, and then save your teleport so you can make a bottom lane play.
Well, not going to have the option just yet, and Impact actually doesn't have his either, but it'll come back soon-ish. Jensen hiding in a brush in the meantime, does get some poke damage onto Ninja, but not quite able to proc the Thunderlords. Blue buff drops off as well, so that early donation that we did miss, but is very common when Meteos plays Rek'Sai. Loves to give it to his very aggressive mid laner. But Ninja, I will say, navigating well. Smoothie's going to roam up, but it's just to clear a pink ward here. Ninja pretty effective so far. A little down on CS, but other than that, Echo's looking just fine. And maybe Ninja with his teleport is the one to make that bottom lane play.
Yeah, he could even make a top lane play or something like that, because I feel as though Envy, you know, they got behind in the early game, but hold on. Wait, he stepped
back,
on
perhaps?
it.
Yeah, Meteos actually going to get stunned up here. Proxen able to do the damage. Parallel Convergence cuts him off. Pila is very good for Smooth, for Hakahu, sorry, and that is enough to cut him off.
Yep, and that's going to be Meteos going down. The kill goes over to Ninja, so another small advantage for him in the lane, despite being down in CS. He's a little bit closer in gold.
Oh, again, Impact. Every single time that little passive lands,
Yeah.
Seraph has to worry.
It's a whole lot of damage, and as Kennen, Hyper does magic damage, so you don't bring magic resist glyphs at all as Kennen. You bring magic penetration, so that you start with something like 17, 18 magic penetration in your runes, and then when you get Sword Shoes, you're sitting at like 30, so people who don't have any runes just get destroyed. And this is Meteos just being too aggressive. Proxim called him on it, put down the ward, and Hakuho is here as well. After a back, I believe, just roamed from the base there.
Yeah, just chilling out, but definitely in the right place there. We'll actually check back in with the bottom lane.
Yeah, and you think about what happened with Meteos in the finals is a lot of people were saying, oh, he tilted after the Zac game, the Magical Journey, Jensen, a few missed skill shots, and that's something that C9 has to keep in mind is the mental resilience that they need to actually make it through this series, because if you have plays like that, and it's such a high-stakes series because you lose, you're out, well, can't keep having those plays. Envy, they may be able to take advantage of it.
Well, we'll have to see. Cloud9, I think, sticking together now, which is a little smarter. Going to try and take the blue buff. Impact, hungry for more blood. Back in onto Seraph. The ultimate is there, actually, from Seraph. So he's going to be okay.
I keep hitting Pastry's cough button because it's right in front of me. I'm so sorry. Play-by-play goes out for a second.
That's fine. I'll keep yelling. I'll yell into your mic. We'll figure it out.
I'm going to just stand over here. Far away from
able to take this contract down for themselves. Mascot collected. Hakuho's going to try and run interference, but no such luck this time. And there is the Draken, but Hakuho going to get tagged up as well. Smoothie gets in there with the passive, but the slow from Sneaky's not enough. Maybe actually a re-engage from Envy. Lord opens fire onto Smoothie, ulted out from Hakuho as he puts up the door to block out the curtain call. C9 looking to collapse.
Here comes the TP from Impact, and he cancels it.
Yeah, a little ambitious perhaps. Cloud9 though, do defend well. Proxen, he wants something, but does not commit for it.
He's still got Body Slam Flash and Cask available, and if they've swept this bush, he can Body Slam into it and just hang out.
Oh, he's in.
Oh, nope.
He got spotted.
He's a little too fat there.
It's caught the edge of the keg.
Just
no good.
They saw a love handle. What was that?
Dragon's not very subtle champion, as it turns out. Well, actually leave Cloud9's duo lane relatively safe, but Lod and Hakuho not feeling too bad right now. Got the early Ghostblade components and a call actually from Lod, so his farm will be okay. Sneaky though with the BF sword answering pretty much identically as far as early power goes. We're at it again for top lane.
Yep, more picking on Seraph.
There's the ultimate, but the knockup's not there from Meteos. Stuns are good, but Meteos flashes in. Impact Mega's in as well. There's another one. Meteos this time gets it.
And Impact still got the stun onto Seraph with the double damage from the Gnar, and he flashed to the other side of the turret. It's just the orientation of his Gnar still slammed him into the turret.
Some sick buffering there from Impact, whose mechanics have been so good looking all playoff run long, and it does continue in the best of fives as Impact once again out to a nice big lead.
This is so crazy too, because if you think back to Cloud9, hold on.
Smoothie with a nice ult, but they can't quite follow in. Hakuho now threat of getting stunned, but is going to be okay. Exhaust was burnt though from Envy as C9 working on this top turret, and it will go to Impact and Meteos.
And they don't even give Impact solo gold.
Ooh, good cast from Proxim, but it's not enough. Lod does not have the ultimate, I don't think.
No.
Does land a bit of poke, but not enough to convert for a kill.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a spectator, but if he ever cancels his ultimate and has extra shots on it, the refunded cooldown doesn't actually show up in the spectator, and it just kind of breaks and goes, hey, he just doesn't have it.
Ever.
So you don't see that actual circle tick down.
Well, Jensen's actually here as well. So is Meteos. Arrow lands, finds Hakuho. Jensen going to try and cut him off, but the Weaver's All's not quite there. Might be enough to block them up, but he's actually trapped Sneaky and Smoothie. Push back down to Hakuho is good for a conversion. There's the kill onto Jensen, and C9 surge forward, looking for another. Proxen is going to get away this time.
This is a moment where you would really want Seraph to have his Slicing Maelstrom in the top lane. He had a teleport advantage because Impact doesn't have his. If they were keeping track of that in that lane, that's a play where Seraph can TP in, make them call it off, and also have the threat of a Slicing Maelstrom, but he doesn't have that available.
And it's all that pressure from Cloud9, constantly desyncing the power that Seraph tries to bring in the top lane. And it's tough. This is the big carry we talked about for Envy. He's a leader for his team. He's a strong carry player on the team as well. He's expected and needed in this match to really have a big impact. And unfortunately, his lane opponent on the other side is doing that instead.
Yeah. And I feel like he's just getting a lot of pressure here. And I was saying before that fight in the bottom,
we're at it again. Impact almost mega. Seraph with a good
Jensen.
stun, but they're going to keep running in, but Jensen cut him off. That means Seraph's got no chance, and Jensen just gifted a kill.
Yeah, and this is what has happened to Seraph every single time he's played Cloud9. Think back to the beginning of the summer split. Seraph came in, he was looking like a fantastic top laner, and people were saying maybe he's the best in the league because he was just dominating his opponents, and then he played Impact, and Impact just destroyed him in lane. This right here, Jensen, little bit of an oopsie. Just wanted to get in there.
Nails this, though.
Yeah, cuts him off. And then they end up getting Hakuo. Proxen, not quite. And then, yeah, looked like they had to just back off after that. Couldn't get anything more, and the curtain call wasn't able to finish.
And you mentioned it in the draft. Cloud9 definitely a comp where they can impact multiple lanes with their globals between Talia, Ashe, and the Impact teleporting in as well. Impact's now ahead in his lane. Jensen's roam got himself 2 kills, and the pressure is constant now from Cloud9 as they're even starting to shove out and take full control of this bottom wave as well. Sneaky, yes, a bit behind in CS, but he's got his assist money. It'll be nice and even, and Cloud9 looking to break down some more walls.
Yeah, and this turret's already a little bit lower. It's about half HP, a little bit higher than that. So they're just trying to chip away at it. And something that I've been trying to say, and it just keeps going back to, fighting in this game, is that top lane turret, or sorry, that top lane matchup is something that usually goes that Kennen's way, but Impact is getting so much attention.
Hold on. Actually, goodbye, Ninja.
Impact is just a monster. He is playing like SKT Impact.
Yeah.
Like, those are the roams he would make for Faker, and look at this.
Hakuo again getting stunned. Sneaky gonna try and look for it. Smoothie smacks him in a sneaky flash orders to the last one. Log also stunned there as Proxen. He's a little too late, but they can't complete the last auto. Seraph needs to make a big play, but Log gets sniped by Meteos in the top right.
Yeah, the Prey Seeker comes out. Seraph TP's in. He has his slicing Maelstrom, but they don't have an Echo, and Ninja's up in 5 seconds. They're gonna try to go for a play with the Mega Nord.
Looks very rough here. Proxen stuns Seraph. Gonna burn the ultimate. Impact throws them into the wall. There's another kill as Cloud9 clean up under the turret.
And they don't lose anybody to the turret either. They kill all 5 members across the map, 10-1 in kills. Cloud9 are not playing games today, but they're playing League of Legends.
Certainly are, and it's looking great for them. 10-1 up in kills. Gonna take their second turret of the match. And a breakneck pace for 15 minutes in as Cloud9 already up 6K and counting.
15 minutes in. They have just been playing like a well-oiled machine. You think about that top lane during the regular season, Impact was left out to dry so many times. There was lane swaps and the complex communication. Well, Impact, people were saying, like, maybe he's fallen off, maybe he's not that world champion anymore. Back to standard lanes every single time. I have not seen this guy lose a lane like by a horrible margin at all. He's making his opponents feel that pain.
What's his bottom trade back again? As this was a good try from Envy, but C9 able to turn it around.
Yeah, if the TP comes in a little further back onto something, there's nothing actually deep. But when you play with a Kennen, you have to get deeper wards, like brush number 2 wards for the far brush from you in the bottom lane. But Seraph comes through, doesn't have his flash, so he can't ulti flash, cancel the animation. And then they just get picked off there. Ninja.
Yep, no time to complete the replay as Ninja and Jensen are trading. Impact with a 1v2. Here's a real test as Proxen gonna knock him back. He's about to pop back into Mega, but he's doing the damage he can. He's now mini-sorry as he hops back over Proxen. 10! 1v2 from Impact as he takes one down. And now Seraph just gonna be left out. Impact's got a flash. Seraph, I believe, will go down here. And this Frozen Mallet is doing so much work. Flashes the Shuriken and outplays for a 1v2 double kill.
Impact is absolutely incredible. He's getting such an advantage.
Here we go again. Lord hops out of the way. Can't snipe him. Dodges the W. Impact can get out of this one as well. Arrow not there, and there's no help forthcoming. Minions are going to do the two. And shutdown finally comes from Hakuo, but Cloud9 are taking mid.
And Impact always knows he needs to get as much as he can before he dies. 2 kills, so much attention, gets the ultimate out of Hakuo and the ultimate out of Laud, and buys his team time to take down that last outer turret.
Well, a blemish on the record now for Impact, but still fantastic play as Envy are throwing almost everyone at him, and Cloud9 are just capitalizing.
Yeah, Cloud9 used to just leave him out to dry. Like, Meteos, that was the lane in terms of jungle proximity that was never camped. They always went for bottom lane. Meteos always played towards Sneaky and Jensen, and it was very low. I believe Impact was like the second least or the least most camped top laner by his own team, and now he gets attention. Now they've like, oh, this is what he can do with an advantage. Yeah, heck yeah, I'll camp this guy. I'll go after him every game. Amazing play there. Turns around, jumps over Proxen for that 3rd hit, gets the kill, doesn't catch the boomerang there too, so that was something that was a little bit close. And because Seraph doesn't have the slicing Maelstrom, because he keeps using it in these dives where he's just trying to get a counter kill, and it's not working out. If he had it there, or if he had it that time that he had TP up before, then it would have worked out, but they're putting so much pressure on this Kennen.
And again, he's drawing all the attention, and Cloud9 are making it work. 5-1-4 now for Impact, as Cloud9 have the outer ring felled as well. Big lead still as Ninja going to get shoved back in by Jensen, who's got 2 items built up pretty quickly here. Ninja doing okay with the Proto Boat early on, but the rest of Cloud9 are collapsing. Now it's Impact once again, ganking like a jungler, gets himself a kill.
6-1-4 for Impact. He is... I'm gonna have to pull up a thesaurus here.
Yep, we're running out of hyperbole.
Yeah, exactly. Running out of hyperbole here, but he is just playing fantastically. This is incredible. You would not have thought in the last few weeks of watching Cloud9 that this guy who was playing like Maokai and all these tanks and stuff is gonna be this monster in playoffs.
Well, looks like Rift is getting taken while Impact is a bottom laner apparently. I think he's got 3 members on his tail once again. Alrighty.
1v3?
Let's go! Nice him in there. Didn't have it last time. Gets himself exhausted and the pillar's going to slow him down. Impact going to have to try and hop his way out. And I don't think he's got enough for this particular play. Cannon will grab the shot down.
He does buy time for his team to pick up the Rift Herald, and then they start pushing that down the top side of the map. Rift Herald does go over to Meteos, and we'll see if they can get this turret. But he bought so much time on the bottom side of the map. So I guess for hyperbole's sake, we can't call him a god because he's not immortal. But he does do a damn good job.
Well, this tower actually should go down as well. C9 more than enough damage. It's actually a nice wall going to cut him off. Ninja has to phase dive through it, but he gets knocked up. Ults himself back, but that's not where he wants to be. Stun's going to land. The Protobelt's not enough to get him out to safety. And Sneaky going to grab that one. As Lord firing a couple shots back in, but Meteor's happy to tank them. And it just keeps getting worse and worse. We talked about Envy's early game needing to be good here. Cloud9 are trying, hey, we've got a great early game.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the builds here from Envy. It's really hard for them to catch up. Kennen is a champion that needs to stay a bit ahead of the curve, and that's why there's a bit of the power budget put into his laning phase where he can punish the enemy and stay ahead. But when you're sitting on Protobelt and now you look at your enemies and they've already got GA on the Rek'Sai, they have an Abyssal Scepter, they're building magic resistance, you have to go for a Void Staff second, and you don't want to do that. You want the Rylai's Crystal Scepter, and you want your mid lane to build something like an Abyssal Scepter for you so that you both get the magic penetration. It's doubly effective here. But Ninja's going for the Lich Bane, possibly for a split push build, I would assume.
Impact busy split pushing on his own. He's actually still claiming Dominion over bottom lane here. Lod is trying to get what farm he can, but not particularly safe. 1v1 versus the massive Gnar. Blue buff going to go over to Ninja, who's able to dive his way over. Does phase dive to make sure he collects it. And Cloud9, I mean, they're just methodical here in how they're taking away the rest of the map. They've nailed Sarah with a beautiful CC chain, and he disappeared.
He didn't even move from his spot. Hit with the arrow, not even that long of a distance. Everybody collapses, and he's just gone. Seraph, 1 and 7.
And you talk about Cloud9, you know, maybe even just playing the series a bit here. Seraph, we know, is a huge anchor for his team and needs to really go off in the series. This is not the way you want your momentum to start off here if you're a Seraph. 1 and 7. It's not just that he's, you know, fallen behind and had some moments where Impact's able to take advantage. Like, he's straight up getting bullied now, and that plays not just into this game, but the rest of the series as well.
Yeah, and he's somebody who's a big kind of shot caller for the team, big leader, and if you put him behind, then, well, he can't make those TP plays. He's more hesitant. And look at this.
Needs that confidence. The C9 is going back in again. That's a wraparound from Meteos, who's tanking it up. Seraph makes the big flank and maybe make something happen. Lot actually able to get the kill as Kennen snags up the other. C9's duo will fall down, and a misstep finally is punished by Envy.
Yeah, dual lane goes a little bit too far forward. Jensen with the Weaver's Wall on the backside. But are they still trying to fight here? Because I feel like you have to give up this mid turret.
Impact's got ulti, but he does need to go mega. Meteos is here. I think C9 fancy their ways through here. Lord gonna get kited around. Impact with a good flash gets himself out. Envy actually chased off this turret as Seraph Protobelts forward and stuns up Impact. But there's the boomerang gonna proc in that hyper, and now they'll move forward. Seraph gonna go down Meteos with a huge flash, gets it back in as well. C9 gonna make the 3v5 dream happen here as Impact. Another one in. Ninja straight into the wall, flashes out, but Ninja, I'm not sure that's enough. Needs a few more shots. Prey Seeker looking, Meteos still threatening, and Lod's actually now under fire. Gonna be okay, but Cloud9 turn it around.
Yeah, Impact was camping Ninja's ultimate, making sure that when he came back, yeah, there's a wall up here for you, but man, taking out 2 members, taking out the jungler as well, Baron on the table, 22 minutes in.
Well, it's enough for this at least. Cloud9 once again turn it around and convert their pressure wonderfully in this particular series. This Baron will fall, and Cloud9 will officially go up 10,000 gold in this series. Hakuho, make that 1 true damage pillar count. Can't do it. Smited away by Meteos as Cloud9 claim the Baron.
This has been an insanely fast game. 22 minutes in, as many kills as there are minutes. So this is just a fast-paced game for both of these teams. Whereas Cloud9, they were actually on the lower side of cumulative kills per minute in their games. They were always the late-game team coming into playoffs. They had an opposite style of Immortals, but it seems like they've really picked up their pace.
Well, certainly been looking great here in the first one as Drake is up as well if Cloud9 fancy themselves yet another objective. 4 turrets down, so still some tier 2s to work on, and Envy have kind of reasonable patches of their base to still defend. Certainly rough though, as Envy just haven't quite found the angle for a flank or the right engage with Proxen and on Ninja, or the right pick perhaps with the Trundle Jin combo. Ocean Drake going to go over to Cloud9 as they'll compound those advantages, and looks like we're going to run it down mid lane as Impact still pushing in the bottom lane. Does have TP if he needs to. Everything set up here for Cloud9.
Yeah, and oh, may have been spotted there, and now Jig is up. They have to go do something. Impact is pushing that bottom lane. Nobody can answer.
What are you doing? Jensen always got so sneaky. And Seraph actually does get it. Ninja gonna fall down, but Seraph I think in trouble here as well. Jensen still taking 5, but Meteor's got a double in and amongst the mess. Another one goes over as that's the shutdown for Jin. Now Smoothie gonna get chased down as well. Impact did not join, and Cloud9 pays for it. Meteor's fancy feet needed. There's a tag. Needs to pop the GA. Just out of range for that last bullet.
Jensen is literally trolling right now. What was that wall? He just throws it out and he cuts off his team. Oh, man. And this mid-turret, Envy, they don't even put pressure on it because Impact is now just buying so much time, and he walks back through the mid lane.
Proxying away. It's fine.
Oh, Lord.
Well, Impact didn't make it to the fight, but
Yeah,
we'll still make sure the game stays so safe.
He's got a really good game sense as well. This here throws that out, sees them all, and then, all right, I guess we're going to 5v4. Impact is still pushing. This is one of the things, and woo! Bops himself and Smoothie off to the other side. And then Seraph gets backline access for the first time in the entire set. And Meteos has to get out of there. Jensen is in the front line now because he really wanted to make up for what he had done in the fight and try to get a piece of it. But yeah, they get everybody except for Meteos and Impact.
Well, nice little answer back there from Envy. Much needed goal as they trade a few kills back and forth and come out ahead in the team fight. Certainly have a lot more of those required though if they are going to catch up in gold, but all they can really do right now is weather the storm that Cloud9 have brought to this first game. And I think Cloud9 maybe a little too hyper after the early pressure of the game, so looks like they'll probably try and close things out a little more methodically, or maybe not. Maybe they'll just go crazier and dive some of those turrets. But Impact staying solid here in the bottom lane.
Oh, this is just for Impact and Seraph, by the way.
That's a lot.
That's a 3K gold difference. He's a full item up. Even more, 3 levels as well. It's just ridiculous. And it's not even that, and I've probably said this a few times about when Impact is up against somebody. It's not that he's so ridiculously far ahead of the game. Like, you look at Jensen's level 16. It's that his lane opponent is way behind the game. Seraph is lower level than his jungler, his AD carry. Seraph is basically a support cannon right now. He does have a little bit more gold, though.
I mean, he's kind of done that in the build as well. It's very kind of haphazard.
Yeah.
Proto Belt plus Void stuff. This is what he needs.
Yeah, it's what he needs, though. Like, Kennon's builds are usually a little bit oriented around having as much damage as possible while remaining utility. And there's Weaver's Wall again.
All right, this one a little better from Jensen. Impact though straight in there as long getting jumped on by Meteos. That's an easy 2-man by the looks of things. As Seraph are going to be the next one stunned up here. Proxen corner under the turret as well as Impact still running forward and trying to catch a couple stragglers. C9 do not get another kill, but should be able to take the turret here. As Impact, oh my god.
He's got that combo down. He has the Gnar into the wallop, even when he knows it's not going to stun. A lot of people will Gnar, and then they don't know if it's going to stun or not, so they don't charge the wallop. He's charging the wallop as the person's flying to the position, and then just throws the rock at them. So he's played a ton of Gnar.
Certainly has. It's looked good in this game and pretty much from the back end of his season, especially in the old playoffs. Ninja forced to teleport out of the way. Impact cannot cancel this one, but we'll get a bit of damage back down. Ninja! That was close. I like that he waits till he's like, you can come back? You gonna come back?
Yeah, just in case, just in case. I will back right here. Make sure that you don't.
Well, Cloud9 do bust down one more turret. They've actually got 7 now, which is a reasonable number, and they did crack mid-inhib as well. So things looking good. Looks like Jensen's going to move his way topside and try and get that way pushing in their favor. And again, Envy do just have to play back and hold on. We'll see how Cloud9 look to finish this game out, because they've been in this position for 5 to 10 minutes or so. They're just so far ahead.
Yeah, and you think about Envy, though, they play really long games because they lose slowly. They are good at stalling, and they are good at having team fights, and we saw them take a team fight and respond appropriately. And if Seraph can get a few more levels, you want to hit that rank 16 to have that high base damage ult. It's about 700 damage to everybody who's in it, plus your AP by like 150%. And he has the Void Staff now, so the MR not going to mean as much, but he just needs to get a little bit further and catch up.
And that's the biggest thing. Impact is level 16, and Seraph is very sadly sitting at level 12, which is a huge gap in experience. I think more than anything, that tells the story of how much work Impact has done 1v1, and Cloud9 have been right behind him the whole way.
Oh yeah, I mean when Impact has the most kills in the game at 8, and then you look at Seraph's deaths, it's at 3 and 10. Like that may be the most deaths that Seraph has ever had in a single game.
That's rough. Again, this also has maybe wider reaching impact as well throughout the series. We'll have to see how Envy look mentally as we progress through this one. And again, not out of this game yet. Certainly good at holding on. Cloud9 stumbling a little bit to finish off this game, but it's still quite early, so can't blame them for the pace at which they're playing. They know they're ahead. They're certainly playing like it. And it's going to look to try and take down these side lanes and break that Nexus down. Looks like major buffs have reset those, so we'll be looking for maybe another Drake. Cloud number 2 will be up in 30 seconds. Baron will follow about 10-15 seconds after, as it's now up in 40. Meteor's going to take the Scuttle. Sneaky looking for an arrow pick. Cloud9 is making sure they're positioned well, and Impact is back to split pushing that bottom lane.
Yeah, just trying to apply pressure. You go with the 4-1, but the Baron is almost on the table in 30 seconds. So right now, Impact has that teleport, and he's just trying to apply pressure. He could take out Seraph probably underneath a turret. Like, honestly, doesn't have a Zhonya's yet for Seraph. He's working on it. He's trying to get there. So Ninja's the one to answer him. He has a bit more in terms of the level department.
Well, see if he can brave the 1v1 that is Impact, who did go that Black Cleaver as well, so even more dueling potential. As Envy kind of just relegated to camping brushes at this point. See if they can't find a pick. C9 not interested though. They'll get Meteor pushing up the top side. He can join quickly onto the Baron with the tunnel if he needs to, but he's actually being caught. It's pretty tanky, so it's not enough damage there for Envy, but that might cause Cloud9, and it does, to pull away from the Baron. Impact already here though. He actually walked his way over. Impact looking to get in the mix. Hakuho maybe caught out. Does get himself knifed into the wall. Knock up from Meteor will follow. Great pushback there from Jensen, as now it's 5v4. Cloud9 gonna play with advantage, try and chase down a few more.
Yeah, and Cloud9, this is how they've been playing. They'll get a small advantage, then they go and take the objective, and they make sure that they can just sweep it, go after the Baron once again, and maybe bait another fight. They have the Weaver's Wall, they have a lot of flashes, they still have Smoothie's ultimate.
Keep getting key cooldowns as well. Seraph flashless once again, as this Baron is started up by Cloud9. Clear out the wards in the back. Looks like the melee's having some trouble. They'll get there though, as Impact TP's in. They want Proxen.
Pretty sure you don't want the 50-50 smite, so gotta take out Proxen.
Well, Proxen gonna get stunned. Flashes after that last order, and there's the shove back for Jensen. Gets himself another. Cloud9 now gonna run back to Baron.
Yeah, exactly. Back to the Baron, back to the baiting tool, and they're gonna have Impact continue to shove up mid lane, keep it pushed, make sure they don't have to kind of take care of that dirty work, and then go back down towards the bottom. Maybe even solo the Drake. He has so many options he can actually execute on right now.
The amount of land that Impact owns right now is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Like, here's the Baron on Summoner's Rift. His Dominion is kind of most of the Rift right now. He's been all over, ganking mid lane, split pushing bottom lane, solo killing top lane. He's seen it all. Now he's going to get himself a Drake out of the deal. Continuing to play multiple roles for Cloud9 here in this game. And Cloud9, they go back, they grab the Baron, they'll reset and shop. And we keep talking about it, but it really is just one fight away from this game exploding in Cloud9's favor.
Yeah, 16K up. Basically, the game has been in your favor for the past 14, 15 minutes. From the get-go, when Seraph got solo killed in the top lane, Impact and the rest of Cloud9 have had a very conscious team effort to shut him down. This is Impact's Seraph's most deaths in a single game by 2. He's had 2 games where he has had 8 deaths.
Well, Impact looking to chase in again. Does slow down Ninja with that frozen mount. So annoying. As he goes mega under the turret, Pillar's going to stop him. Tower damage is decent, but Smoothie going to protect him. Proxen tries to ult him back, but he can't land it in, and the Weaver's Wall going to cut off a few. Lot actually got caught crucially in the back corner. But Envy still holding on for now. C9 with the Baron, they're going to push down, and this turret's dead.
And they just barrel their way straight through a great Weaver's Wall. You want to split the team like that. Seraph was on the left side of it. No access to an actual counterplay. And now without that turret,
oh, Meteor flushes in again. Seraph going to go down one more time as Smoothie claims it. And Cloud9 still looking for more. Ninja walks through the minefield and is forced to ulti out instantly as Lod. Ulti's down, but he's only hitting tanks in the front side at this point. Ninja going to get himself chased down as Impact accidentally autos the inhib. And Impact's going to keep chasing. He's almost megaed in again. He flashes out from under, looking for another outplay. Lod, he wants it, but he's not going to get it. Meteor goes legendary as he takes out Lod. And Cloud9 might just look to push it in and end.
And look at that, Seraph with the most deaths in his NALCS career. Envy against C9. Records just keep getting set. That one, and last time they played in quarters, Jensen got the kill record.
Well, certainly looking good for game number 1. Cloud9 going to claim a Nexus and take the first one in our best of 5. Brutal game 1 for Envy to try and weather.
Brutal is a great word for this, but it still seems like an understatement. When you have to play that matchup top, you flub it in something that's a counter matchup early, you get destroyed by minions, and then you lose your flash, and you just get punished over and over again. Your captain is out of the game from the get-go.
And you could see it instantly in that first reaction we got from the player cam. He just sunk in his chair.
It's kind of a death sentence as Kennen. You don't have your flash, so you can't make a bottom TP flash play. You can't really make a counter play either, and you didn't even get Impact's flash, so he's able to use it the next time he has Mega Gnar available, and it just was absolutely brutal. Impact saw those small advantages, and he just kept pressuring. He kept calling Meteos at the right times, and Jensen, and like Seraph, that is one of those games of League of Legends where you just want to quit, go do something else for a bit, come back to the game, but he's only got about 10 minutes before he has to get back on that rim.
And that's going to be a crucial 10 minutes. We'll see if Envy can reset, but we're going to pass it back to Dash to break down Cloud9's commanding Game 1 victory.
Thank you very much, Pastry. Cloud9 out 1-0 against Envy here in a very dominant game. Small hiccups here and there, and we'll discuss those. But for the most part, total control over Game 1 in this series. I want to start with Champion Select here. The Gnar going over to Impact. I mean, he's been performing, we've mentioned it many times, throughout the postseason tremendously, and this pick for him has been insane.
He has been unrivaled in his top lane performance in the playoffs. Honestly, he looks amazing. 1v2ing, the laning phase, just everything that he's been doing is so fun to watch. His all-ins, his fighting, the quickness that he's using abilities, it's immaculate.
And I mean, at Envy, we kind of see what we've come to expect. It's these kind of weird picks that, like, they want to blow up your backline. It seems like everything that they always do is about, like, oh, we'll take Castlin top, you know, in the Liquid series. Like, we're going to blow up your immobile carries. And it feels like that's what they always want to do, but they ignore the other aspects. Like, Echo into Talia just looks really rough. Like,
what is he supposed to do there?
You just get pushed in, and the Talia roams on you, and you hope you can one-shot her later in the game. I don't know. So I think...
yeah, I guess if you get to that 4-item point, you're like, well, I'm an AP Echo, so if I get onto a carry, I will eliminate them. But up till that point, we saw an insane amount of pressure in that mid lane. Also, the Kennen top lane. This pick for Seraph that was banned in other, by other teams and in our series yesterday. But here, Impact showing that he has full control over that lane. He'll happily take that matchup.
Well, we saw the same thing happen in the quarterfinal matchup where they picked Gnar into Kennen, or Kennen into Gnar from Envy, and once again, just by a sliver of HP, Kennen unable to win that matchup. Now, you can't really wonder where that advantage comes from, because we saw in that all-in that he could have been able to actually win this if that lightning surge would have been able to hit. He would have actually won that engage.
I mean, had he flashed, gotten that stun off earlier, and then we also, the fact that we're fighting in a 6 creep wave there, the amount of damage that was probably dealt to Seraph in that wave.
And then that was just the early 6, and then once he gets that far ahead,
he's just the best one.
He takes over the game. It's so crazy to watch him do this, because this play is just, he's just in there getting all his autos in, gets the jump away. This is a late ult that puts Impact right on top of Seraph again to keep fighting. And
he's got Mallet at this point, so it's impossible to get away from him.
Great flash.
He's going to be able to do it.
Right here. Boom.
Oh, yeah, over the shitter.
And then he dodges out even more, buys more time for his team while they're taking mid lane turret. So.
Right. And that's on top of the roams where he would just run mid, and then next thing you know, Ninja's dead. On top of it. It's just an insane game out of Impact, really commanded the whole thing.
And that's the thing. I think ultimately it is Game 1 is scary for Envy because it played out very much the way we expected, but also the way that they had almost predicted. They had said, we're going to have to throw some crazy things at C9 if we expect to win this series today. Well, Game 1, they open with Kennen top and Echo mid. Those things are slightly out of the meta, and it goes this poorly for them. That's gonna cause some worry and some stress moving on to games 2
and 3. And it wasn't even that crazy. We've seen these picks before. We saw the Echo middle from G2 over in Europe. We've seen the Kennen top before. We know what these picks do, as we've seen them even before in the meta. So it wasn't anything too kooky that we've seen. It's kind of like a haunted house. You're like, oh, it's gonna be really scary, and then surprise, like you. Okay,
it's what we beat in the playoffs already a couple weeks ago. I mean, overall, I just don't know what Envy can do. Moving forward, I think you have to just try and get Impact off a couple of his comfort champions, Gnar being a big one.
They did do 3 top lane bans.
Well, right, but you can look at the Shen. I think Shen would be one where at least you're taking Impact off the playmaker and he's more of support. I mean, obviously Shen does have big global impact plays, but it's not Shen making those happen. It's him following up on an engage or protecting someone you engaged on.
It's not that Shen isn't a top-tier champion. It's just that let's put Impact off of Gnar. Let's put
Something
him off
that's
of
not
something
gonna
that
take
just
over the
purely
game.
dominates the lane itself. And you know, a lot of the issues that plagued Envy yesterday were still persistent today. I mean, we saw only 14 minutes in an essentially 5-for-0 trade in the bot lane by Cloud9. You talk about giving over early advantages like they did to Team Liquid. They did it even more so in this series.
Yeah, what I love about this is you see Impact pick up that mid lane kill, and then there's a fight bot lane, and all of C9 just rotates from the mid lane, starts heading down bottom. Sneaky's going to pick up a kill there, and then Meteos and Jensen are coming around from the backside to snipe this kill on the log.
I love that they let him go. Just say, hey, I got it with Prey Seeker, and then all this time, Impact was able to push in middle, making sure to deny more. He's charged up his Mega, so he's going to come in. And when you just see that Mega Gnar put it in, it's like, okay,
this is like, oh god, someone help.
He's already got like over 2,000 health. I can tank this turret for a long time.
With a two-man stun that, like...
But I also love your point, though, about how Cloud9 did in that instance, for example. Remember all the little things, right? So they sent the Taliyah to roam first from that mid lane, knowing that Gnar had the TP, could meet up with team. So let's finish pushing in the mid lane. Let's deny as much as we can while taking as much as we can.
So that play is like a common shift play where you have, so you want to make something happen in the bot lane, you have everybody in their regular lanes. You send Taliyah, she pushes middle, roams towards bottom. Your top laner, he also pushes the wave top, rotates to the middle, so now you have pressure in a more concentrated area, exactly, and then he's able to either assist bottom through TPing or walking as well. You just keep up pressure through all stages of the game, and it's just great to watch, although they did falter a couple of times that they weren't playing very well with pressure, mostly for the Mias.
Yeah, and I think it's a little acceptable in a sense, because once you get that far ahead, you get a little overconfident where you think you can engage however you want. They don't need to be super clean, and because you're so far ahead, your tanks feel really safe, but the problem is your carries, they don't get like more health. They can still get one shot by this very high damage lineup by Envy, and so we saw if your tanks mess up the engage, it leaves your carries very susceptible. And a couple times C9 lost some fights, but it was never like a game-breaking Baron's gone now.
Yeah, and a 13K gold lead in the mid 20 minutes does give you permission.
7K at 15.
To screw some things up every once in a while. Now, important to note, for Game 2, Envy has elected to hop to the blue side. Yep. I think that, you know, when we're talking about how we're going to deal with champion select relative to the top lane, this might put them in a position to continue to throw a lot of bans into the top lane and then perhaps pick something else away, right? So if we're going to pinch it even harder, perhaps that's how they get Impact onto something more uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I think you throw convention out the window, let Cloud9, the rest of Cloud9 play whatever they want, but really put all the eggs into Impact. You cannot let him go off again. If this happens, we know he can go off on Gangplank. We know he can go off on Shen, Gnar, like
Echo.
I mean, the list kind of goes on, so I'm not sure what they can pull out of
that's what's
here.
weird to me is on blue side, that's usually when you're first picking some conventional strong laner, and oftentimes it's a top laner right now. And it doesn't seem like Seraph is going to play those. Like you don't think he's going to whip out the GP or something if they leave it unbanned. So I'm a little curious to see what Envy's going to prioritize with that first pick, and hopefully it's something in the top lane.
Yeah, questions to be answered after a dominant Game 1 for Cloud9. We're heading to a quick break. Join us on the other side for Game 2 of the North American LCS Regional Qualifier.
I get bar now. GG.
Alright, we're gonna 3-0, so it's fine.
Yeah. He's got 3-0, so there's no burnout possible.
Even if we lose 1 or 2, we can still 3-0, by the way.
Impact gonna keep moving in there. Now gonna proc some damage here. Seraph gonna keep running in. Needs a stun, but Seraph flashes over and Impact stands his ground for first blood.
Just go, just go.
Really? No creeps?
Okay. Has ulti. I'm on Gragas, Nice. Yeah, just hit it. Nice.
He hops back of a proc and 10. 1v2 from Impact as he takes one down. Frozen Mallet is doing so much work. Flashes the Shuriken and outplays for a 1v2 double kill. Jensen still taking 5, but Meteor's got a double in and amongst the mess. Another one goes over as there's the shutdown for Jin.
Moving up.
Jin no sums.
Good job. I'm here. Come here. This end.
Cloud9 gonna claim a Nexus and take the first one in our best of 5.